Because they're susceptible to drying out, snowdrop bulbs are often planted in the green. That means they're planted in about immediately after flowering, in about March, April, when they still have green leaves on them. And then they're popped into the ground, and we know that those bulbs are very fresh and haven't dried out. Whereas when you buy a bulb from a nursery or a garden centre in a packet, we don't know how those bulbs have been treated, and they may well have dried out, which will significantly reduce the chances of this bulb growing in the spring. I know that this is a nice fresh bulb, it hasn't dried out, so if I plant it fresh now, it will grow in the spring. Using a metal spike to plant our bulbs, it's good if we mark on the spike how the planting depth. So that's 1 bulb's depth, 2 bulb's depth, 3 bulb's depth, and then we can put a little bit of tape around the spike. So now we know that we can plant up to that, push our hole in up to that depth. So planting snowdrops with a metal spike. Push down to the bottom of my green line. Wiggle around. Make sure I plant my bulb the right way up. This where all the roots are is obviously the bottom. And then gently inserting all the way down to the bottom of that hole, squeezing the soil back around it. We can plant bulbs close together, they look naturalistic that way. Push my spike in, wiggle around to make a nice hole, and push my bulb the right way down, all the way to the bottom. And you can even put a bit of compost in the top. Good size hole. Bit of both, squeeze and a bit of compost. Mixing my compost, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts compost, 1 part John Innes, half a part John Innes, and 1 part vermiculite. Getting all the lumps out. Good mix. That's good. There's a pot. We need to put a bit of horticultural grit in the bottom of the pot to ensure good drainage. So the bulbs, they don't want to dry out, but they definitely don't want to be sitting in water, otherwise they can rot. That's 2/3 full. We're planting at 2 to 3 times the depth of our bulb. So if our bulb is that long, we need to go twice, 3 times. So maybe a label's depth. So that's 1, 2, 3, maybe a label's depth of planting. So I've probably, if I just tap that down, still got a little bit too much soil in there. So I'm just gently tapping, not pushing it really hard. That should be okay. And I'm putting my bulbs in They can be close but not touching. So that means I can probably get quite a few in this pot. And I'm putting all of the same size bulbs, so I'm selecting those bigger bulbs. And one more, I just rejiggle it, and so close but not touching, and then top up with this mix. So I'm just gently tapping and I'm filling to the brim, because that compost will settle down a little bit, and then I need to water that in and position these outside in a shady spot.